Hey everyone, it's me, Jammer. Hey everybody, oh, actually I shut the door. Then we'll get going and I'll talk about some alt costumes for Smash Bros. Hey everybody, I'm Jammer and long time no see. It's been a while, but you know what? I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you for asking. And you know, it's really good to be back. So let's just get right down into it. Smash Brothers is a game we all love. Thanks for watching. That's it. Bye. Going by the title of this video, we all know why you're here, and it's because you like alternate costumes in Smash. Yes, that's right. And when I say alternate costumes, I of course mean beyond just color reskins. Of course, you know, every Smash iteration has had that since even 64. And it wasn't until Brawl 2 we got our first true official alternate costume for a character. Yes, characters did see some revisions to their appearance, kind of, you know, basing it on a different version of the character. Great example, of course, being Link, originally being based on the Ocarina of Time Link for both 64 and Melee. Then in Brawl, he took on the appearance of the Twilight Princess Link. Same character, a different costume, but it wasn't really a costume because that's just what he was in that game. The first real alternate costume in Smash Bros. History was, of course, our man, our favorite, Wario himself. Yeah. And of course made so much sense for the character because, you know, of course he's well known for his typical plumber outfit, wearing, you know, the purple overalls and the regular orange. Oh my gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it? And the regular orange, oh my gosh, I just said it again! And the regular yellow t-shirt and cap. But it's really not very representative, especially at the time. What was really popular was his WarioWare micro games. Yeah, WarioWare Smooth Moves was his most recent title where he adorned his biker outfit. And so what better way to continue to represent that side of Wario as well by including it as an alternate costume for his character in Smash. Now I know you're not here just for a Smash history lesson, but it's a good place to start because I want to lay the groundwork of the idea that the alternate costume, that's what it is. It's an alternate version of that character. Because what's blown my mind to me over the years of having Smash Brothers having DLC, including in the Wii U era, as well as here in Ultimate, is the fact that we have never seen, ever, any sort of cosmetic downloadable content, in exception to, of course, the Mii Fighter costumes. There, of course, we've seen plenty of updates where, you know, for merely $1 or less, you could get a collection of costumes for either the Gunner, the Sword Fighter, or the Brawler. Sometimes it's based on a certain character, sometimes they're just completely unique costumes. I always felt it was kind of strange that why did the development team always only limit themselves to the Mii Fighters? Well, yes, the Mii Fighters is a great avenue to, you know, kind of implement characters that otherwise wouldn't make it into Smash Bros. As a full standing character. A great example being the Flying Man. It's hilarious that he's even in Smash, but it wouldn't make sense that he'd be a full-blown character. What always blows my mind is why Nintendo never took the next step, making premium DLC costumes for regular characters in the cast. Before we even really knew what Ultimate was going on about, I played with some ideas talking about this topic itself. You know, toying with the idea of what if there were like unlockable costumes within the game based on certain achievements or what, rather than just being right off the bat, you know, you get the wireframe max as well as the normal max, maybe doing a little max challenge or something like that. You then maybe have the opportunity to unlock that costume for him. Obviously that's completely all out the window, and here we're kind of left with the option of if they'll ever update with costumes. Sorry, it's been a while, I'm a little rusty. So when it comes to alternate costumes, they really have two routes they can go about it. One is literally the character is just in a different costume. Maybe a different version of said character, or it's just an aesthetically different version of the same exact character. The only tricky part that might run into if you make too much of a drastic change to that character, like an example would be Link. Like a lot of the changes that were to his moveset, for example, the normal boomerang and as well as the remote bombs, were made to reflect the fact that this is Breath of the Wild Link. If they kind of just threw in Twilight Princess Link or they threw in Ocarina Link, now all of a sudden it kind of breaks the canon of Smash Bros. Already. I mean, obviously that doesn't matter, but at the same time, it's like they made those changes to better suit Breath of the Wild Link. But if they're just gonna bring back the original Links that we had in series past, like, it's a contradiction in that way. The other option they have for alternate costumes is an entirely different character itself. Echo Fighters kind of puts in a weird spot for that, because Daisy and Peach are nearly identical with only aesthetical changes. Why weren't they just an alternate costume then? The argument could be made for really the rest of the Echo Fighter cast. But at the same time, you know, they went out of their way to kind of make them have enough differences so they deserve their own slot. I'm not arguing against Echo Fighters in this video. I'm just trying to point out the fact that if you just put another character on top of a current character as an alternate costume, it's kind of contradicting the purpose of Echo Fighters in the first place. But then at the same time, we have literal contradiction to that exact statement. Olimar and Alf. Or, I don't know, every single costume of Bowser Jr. If they ever actually made premium alternate DLC costumes, I don't even know what route they could go. They could go with just a regular costume for the character, a previous version of the character, whatever, or they could just outright replace character with another. I know, of course, there's Echo Fighters for that, but at the same time, they have literal contradictions in this game. So, I don't know. Now with that lengthy introduction to alternate costumes in general is out of the way, let's kind of get to the meat of this video and actually let's talk some costumes. I thought it'd be fun if we could go one by one through the roster, kind of starting with the top row and go with each character and just kind of think up some ideas of what kind of alternate costumes they could include. I'm going to try to stick to more just costumes for the character itself rather than just, you know, alternate characters entirely, because that kind of just bleeds too much into the realm of Echo Fighter predictions, essentially. I know, of course, there's literally contradictions of that in the game, and there are actual alternate characters right on top of each other. Alamar, Alf, you know, I already said it. But I think just for the purposes of this video, let's just try to stick with the costumes for now. Starting with our main man, Mario. He's gotten a couple of actually new alternate costumes here in Smash Ultimate. The tuxedo suit from Mario Odyssey, as well as the Builder Mario from Super Mario Maker. That's the word. He's already got a couple of alternate costumes to give some changes to it there. I mean, I would have loved to see like alternate colors of those said costumes as well. But if we're going to push the envelope further and give Mario more costumes, I mean, he's got a literal plethora of a catalog from Mario Odyssey that you could choose from. The armor suit, the tuxedo and fedora, which is, you know, now in Mario Kart Tour. What else has he got? Super Mario Sunshine Mario with his, like, Hawaiian shirt and, like, sunglasses. I don't know. Explorer Mario, Dinosaur Mario, Clown Mario, Chef Mario, Zombie Mario. There's literally an endless amount you could select from. And honestly, all could totally work here in Smash Bros. Except, I guess Zombie Mario would be a little weird. They could make it work, though. Next up is our boy, Donkey Kong. Here's the hard part with Donkey Kong is he's generally kind of looked the same since his inception. Obviously, the exception is the other Donkey Kongs, not this specific one. Like, you know, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong's dad. Point being, the modern Donkey Kong we know and love really hasn't worn anything. He's kind of just been naked always. So it's kind of hard to give him a costume without just completely replacing with an alternate character, whether that being like Funky Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. But if I had to go with anything else, I guess the easy pick would be when Donkey Kong made his appearance on Punch-Out on the Wii when he had the boxing gloves. I mean, not much of an aesthetic change there, but you could give him like a championship belt, maybe a pair of shorts so he's not running around naked on the stage. Of course, there could be some other minor visual changes as well. But that's really the only thing Donkey Kong's ever wore throughout his like series history, so I think that'd be the best costume if they had to go the costume route for him. Next up, of course, is Link. And as previously mentioned, this is Breath of the Wild Link. And like in Mario Odyssey, there's a ton of different armor outfits in Breath of the Wild as well. Currently in Smash Ultimate that's already represented is, of course, the hero's tunic, the blue one. And, oh, wait, the hero's tunic's the green one. Well, there's the green one and then his blue champion. Okay, there's the champion's tunic, the blue one, and then the hero tunic, the green one. And then there are, of course, variations. There's the Dark Link one, as well as the Fierce Steedy one. There's Skyward Sword-ish Link. So Link already does have a pretty good selection of different costumes he could have. But of course, there are tons of different armor outfits that are available in Breath of the Wild. You know, like the Barbarian suit would be really cool. Oh, the lightning, the electric proof one. The one that made you look like a leather fish. That one would be hilarious. But if I had to pick any costume, I would pick my personal favorite. And I think would be also a very iconic outfit from that game is, of course, the Climber Link outfit. You know, with his bandana, with the carabiners around his waist, like the little shoes and stuff. I think that'd be a really great costume to be representing Smash Bros. Because it's simple enough and it still reflects its Link, you know, climbing. That makes no sense. I just like that costume, so I think it'd be a cool fit. Next up is Samus. And Samus, as she's seen her changes over the year to reflect the different kind of versions she's had of herself throughout the Metroid series. This particular version here in Ultimate is, of course, the Other M, well, reference to the Other M costume. And of course, some of her alternate costumes do, in fact, reference some of her alternate power suits. Like, for example, the purple alt colors representative of her gravity suit. The dark and white color scheme, of course, are reflective of light and dark suit. But why not just go a step further? Why not actually give us the light or dark suit? And because the armor itself does have a lot of aesthetic changes. It isn't just a reskinned color of, you know, her regular Viara suit. You know, the different kind of shoulder pads, and the light suit, for example, has a different chest plate. But I think if we could see one really big new one that, of course, I think a lot of people predict here that's really iconic is, of course, the Fusion suit. A very interesting mix of, you know, kind of a skin-tight suit, similar-ish to Zero Suit Samus, but you still have the power arm as well as the helmet. Of course, Smash does have the light blue color variant to kind of represent that, but you know, it'd be really cool to see an actual fusion suit in the game. And then give, of course, that fusion suit some alternate colors as well. So there's like the yellow one. So there's like the yellow fusion suit, kind of similar to the one that you had in Metroid Prime, the original, when you used the Game Boy Advance link cable to get the fusion suit from that game into Prime. Pretty cool, I know. And then obviously you have other variant colors from there. I think that'd be a really cool costume to incorporate. Dark Samus. Now, I know what you're saying. What? How are you gonna give an alt costume to not only a brand new character, but also like an echo, like, what else more is there to Dark Samus? And you are right. I mean, Dark Samus is Dark Samus, and the design that they have for this game is fantastic. She should never look better. But if we had to give her some sort of alternate version aesthetic to what she looks like, I think a great example would be the final boss version of what she looked like at the end of Metroid Prime 2. The difference between what she looked like there than, you know, her typical appearance as she, you know, appears here in Smash Bros. It's hard to explain, but she was almost like more X-ray. I don't know. Her exterior was more translucent, where you could kind of X-ray and see into her body and see like her organs and like a crazy little brain thing going on in the top of her skull. Like, it was much more reflective to the fact that the character is not just, you know, metal plates and isn't a suit of armor like Samus is. It showed the organic nature of what Dark Samus is, and like, it was a very creepy design. Really, it's the only idea I could think about at all for like a true alternate costume for Dark Samus, because that's really the only alternate form that would make obviously the most sense for Smash. But I think it'd still be a really cool costume to see. Next up is Yoshi. Yoshi's a pretty simple character. He relatively looks the same. I mean, he's changed over the years, of course, but Yoshi's Yoshi, right? And of course, here they included the plushie Yoshi from Yoshi's Crafted World. So, I mean, the obvious answer would go on the other side of that saying, making an alternate costume being, of course, the Yarn Yoshi from Yoshi's Woolly World. That's it. Maybe with the purchase of the alt costume, you could like pay a little extra and you could also get like the Woolly World stage and bring that back as well. That'd be kind of cool. Beyond that, it's hard to say what else kind of alternate costumes really Yoshi could have. I guess another idea I could have is actually would be pretty cool if he could have Baby Mario on his back, or really any of the baby characters to like, it's still the same kind of Yoshi, but it'd be cool to like have that as your alternate costume where it's like reflective of the Yoshi's Island games when you used to carry around your baby. The issue there though is the fact that, you know, Yoshi in this game and now his more modern Yoshi is more upright, while in Yoshi's Island, you know, he's kind of got that humped back so then he can actually have Baby Mario on his back. So it might look a little weird in Smash, but they can make it work. Next up is Kirby. And the thing about Kirby is, well, we said Yoshi's simple. I mean, Kirby you can't get any more simple than Kirby. And Kirby's just been Kirby since ever. Kirby's Kirby. You could make an argument, of course, for the epic Yarn version of Kirby, but I would say no to that because it's just, he's too drastically different than Kirby. He has a kind of different moveset. You know, he doesn't have the suction ability where he can absorb copy abilities. He uses his Yarn Whip and stuff like that. So he's too different, you know? I think if they're gonna have to go with anything for Kirby, I think the best option would be a costume of classic Kirby. And I don't think that's too far-fetched considering Kirby Star Allies last year had a free update DLC that introduced a classic Kirby as a playable character. A little more plump character. His arms were like, I don't know, they were different. And of course his face had the eyes, the dimples, and the cute face, you know. Kirby of course has seen changes over there, but he's stayed relatively consistent, all things considered. I mean, he's a pretty simple character after all. But I think it'd be cool to see a classic Kirby alternate costume. Next up is Fox McCloud. The first thing we could point at is maybe we could see different versions of Fox, you know, more maybe represent, because this one's kind of more based on the Star Fox Zero version. We could see a more cartoonish looking one, more based on the Star Fox 64 cover art, similar to what, you know, kind of what Melee character looked like, as well as the Star Fox 64 3D remake, where he's got, you know, the more orange fur. If they don't want to go the route of just providing an alternate version of the character, I know I said no alternate characters, but they could do James McCloud, because considering it's just Fox with sunglasses, I think it'd be kind of cool to just have our Fox that we currently have here in Ultimate just with a pair of shades, just for the added salt. Next up is Pikachu. Pikachu currently already has an alternate costume, being the Pikachu Libre. And I think we can go from right there, building off of what alternate costumes we could also see. Because in that same game that Pikachu Libre was introduced, which was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire on the Nintendo 3DS, part of the Pokemon contest thing where you could dress up a Pikachu and there was like 5 different costumes, and each of whatever costume you chose for your Pikachu, it could then learn those type moves. That was the interesting part about it. So if you had a Pikachu Libre, for example, it could actually learn fighting type moves. So honestly, they could pull from any selection of those other ones to bring as another costume. I think it'd be so cute to see Pikachu running around in a dress. That'd just be absolutely adorable. But if we're kind of building off of what we were just barely talking about with Kirby, why not we just include a classic Pikachu skin? I mean, considering now chubby boy Chubby Pikachu has made his return here in Pokemon Sword and Shield as one of the Galaxian forms, it'd be cool to see fat Pikachu as a playable costume in Smash as well. That'd be just perfect. Absolutely hilarious. Next up is Luigi. I know it's a cop-out, but we could just give him the Gooigi skin. They're like so obsessed with Gooigi right now, like promoting him to death and promoting and memeing him to death all over Twitter and everything. So yeah, it would make a lot of sense if they just made a Gooigi skin. I mean, yeah, it's relatively simple, but it would make sense. You just can't argue with that. But if we had to go with a more unique costume, I mean, this is a pretty obvious one. The answer would, of course, be Mr. L. One of the most famed antagonists in probably the Mario series. The only time Luigi's ever been the villain. Well, it's kind of the villain. We've, of course, already seen this in Project M, but it really suits Luigi so well to see that as like an alternate costume, because there's really no other variants, at least off the top of my head, that I can think of that would make sense for Luigi. So seeing either a Mr. L costume or I guess Gooigi would make a lot of sense for him. Next up is Ness. And while a lot of his current costumes, like the t-shirt and stuff we wear, are already kind of reflective of a lot of the other cast of characters in his game, I think the only other obvious costume that would make sense for him would be Ness in his pajamas. Considering it's a costume you literally wear and start the game with, why not also have that as a costume in Smash? He could have his hat off and his like messy hairdo. I think he's barefoot, or maybe he's wearing slippers, I can't remember. But the point is, I think that's like really the best alternate version I could think of for Ness, beyond just giving him another set of clothes. But again, it wouldn't really make sense. Yeah, why not just give him something he actually wears in the game, right? Okay, we're almost wrapping it up here. Next up is Captain Falcon! He's kind of a tricky one as well, because Captain Falcon's just kind of stayed Captain Falcon. He's had more appearances now in Smash more than he has even in his own original series. But if I had to go with a costume for him, I think it's kind of obscure, but they could maybe pull from the comic adaptation of his series where he's wearing that like action adventure outfit. He's kind of got that jumpsuit going on, the more retro pilot cap helmet, as well as, of course, the aviators. I think it'd be hilarious to see him wearing that like classic Captain Falcon outfit. And really, he hasn't appeared different otherwise throughout his series history. So I think that's our best bet, honestly. Finally, let's wrap it up with, of course, Jigglypuff. What do you do with her? I mean, beyond just giving her like some other cute accessories, but she already has like, you know, the bow, the crown. I mean, I guess you could bring back the green bandana from Melee, but is that even really an alternate costume at that point? It's just like such a minor accessory. The only thing I could really think of that would like be, I mean, it wouldn't be drastic changing to the character's appearance, but it would be a pretty cool callback, would to be giving Jigglypuff her microphone, of course, from the anime that, you know, we should take it off and have the marker on the end of it. Just literally just parent it to her hand, and it doesn't even matter what attack she does, she just has the microphone in her hand. And maybe when she actually does her sing, she'll actually hold it to her mouth or something like that, as a little aesthetic difference or something. But that's kind of a hard situation for Jigglypuff, because Jigglypuff's she's just Jigglypuff, you know? That is the original 12-volt plus Dark Samus. And all options for alternate costume premium DLC I could see. Before I go, there is one last thing I want to mention. While of course it's cool to show representation to different costumes and outfits and versions of characters throughout their series as costumes in Smash Bros, you know what? There's another way they could do with costumes as well. What if, hear me out, they just did whatever they wanted? The characters here in Smash Bros are some of, if not the most iconic characters in gaming. And honestly, I would just love to see them just dressing up however. While of course, yes, it'd be great to see representations of other previous costumes they wore, I kind of just want to see them go crazy with it. If they really went the alternate costume route, I would love them to take a similar approach to other games that have like cosmetic rewards. Like, quick example being like Overwatch, where they have, you know, Christmas themed outfits as well as other holidays. I'd love to see that kind of stuff in Smash Bros. The thing that always comes right back to my head is when I talk about this stuff is the commercial for the new Nintendo 3DS customizable plates a while back that they aired the commercial there in Japan. It showed Mario, Link, Samus, Isabelle, Villager, all wearing these cute and unique outfits that we've never even seen before. And how fun would it be to see even more kind of unique character costumes like that in Smash Bros. Being able to kick someone's butt as Dapper Toon Link. or slam someone to the blast zone in a cute spring dress as Isabelle. But the best one of all, of course, would be Hipster Dad Bowser. That's right, you saw it here first. Hipster Dad Bowser. That is what we've needed all along. But I'm curious, what kind of alternate costume would you like to see? And if you enjoyed this video and you'd love to talk about this more on a later date, I'd love to continue down the roster and continue to talk about more alternate costumes we could see in Smash. So please let me know that in the comments below if you'd like to see a part 2, I guess. Yeah, part 2. Be sure to give this video a big awesome like, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for tons more on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Thank you again, everyone, so much for your patience during these past couple of weeks. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to continue to make more for you guys soon. Thanks again, guys, so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!